he's done an outstanding job. He continues to lead through the way he works. He continues to lead through his communication with his teammates and bringing them along. He continues to lead by grabbing one of his teammates and making them better based off of his play and the things that he's seen. So he's been awesome on the field with the things that you can see, and he's been awesome off the field with the things you can't see. And that's just Jalen continuing to develop as a player in all aspects. And man, I'm excited for him to continue to grow as a player and be the best football player he can possibly be. He's had an outstanding start.
There's not a lot of mental errors from these guys, Chick, so they do know it. They've put the work in. Now we're going to keep encouraging them to push it to max speed to see where they can take it. But overall, as a class, they've really put in good work. I like the bond they've had. And for the players, they've got some really good mentors as well. You're not going to see a lot of hazing and that kind of stuff. These are not pledges. They're little brothers that they're bringing along to help us win. And that's the only reason any of us are here. And so I wanted to make sure I was very clear about that.
The right thing is to practice the right way. You have pads on. Again, there should be a lot of energy, but you have to get good at your craft. It's playing with good pad level, good feet, good hands, still taking care of one another, but there's obviously an added element to the contact part of it. But we don't want to practice bad habits. And again, it's training camp, it's hot, it's competitive. There's always going to be some type of shoving and things like that, but we want to practice the right way and carry those habits onto the field.
This is a time where we're starting to shift gears, turn up the temperature, stress these guys out more with pace of operation, things like that, and really challenge our guys mentally to stay on their game. And it's always, these are the hardest practices in my opinion, because you're going from install to install. You got new things every day, and at the end of it, we're really trying to get our techniques and fundamentals down. So that's where we spend some time today, just as a team. That's where we gotta hit the target, while we're here. So. We're in a good spot, if you look at from our evaluation, our internal data, but it is normal training camp. I just want to see us take a step, and particularly pad level and things like that.
It's been competitive. The run game's looked really good from an offensive perspective, but overall, once you put our D-line in pads, they're pretty tough to deal with, and it's showing its face, especially in critical downs, critical situations. So it's been competitive, back and forth. I could say this: last year there were, in our team comp periods, there were blowout wins, and this year has been back and forth throughout camp. So excited about the direction it's going. Still got a long way to go on both sides in all three phases, really. But overall, it's been good.
There are definitely guys that are showing up in really two phases. Like, let's count special teams as well, and it's good to see those guys get better. And I told you guys this during my presser that I'm in the business of developing good men before good players. But if we want to win games, we have to have good players. And it's exciting to see guys like Ox take that step forward. Those guys are doing a good job just getting better and contributing. And, I got this feeling when we met with Drake in Carolina, just his overall mental toughness and competitiveness. And he understands that it's not always going to be clean. I will say this: he's handled it very well. I know that the players will enjoy working with him, and he's a competitor.
Yeah, we have those 4 or 5 days, whatever it was, of ramp-up days, and now we're into pads, and now we're playing the real game. So the techniques and fundamentals, some of that still doesn't change. We've been working on those, and it's important that those carry forward today when we're in pads. It's growth. It's, what is tomorrow better than today? Today's it's new, and it'll be like kind of getting hit by a wave. It's going to come fast and probably pretty physical. So it'll be new for him.
Yeah, I think this team is in the midst of, on a daily basis, developing their own identity. And, it's something that builds for a long time. And, I think we're eager to get back in there. It's a place that we take pride in, to have an advantage, give the people what they want. It will be fun to get back in there. 6 days? That's right.
We felt obviously pretty comfortable with him after that 22 season and to move forward. And, I think even last year, early on, obviously the season started out great versus Chicago, and then we had a couple setbacks. But I think it was just, there was like many people, many quarterbacks or many younger players in this league, there's some inconsistencies that can show up. But the thing that's so impressive about him is just how resilient he is. Never gets phased. just continues to fight. And I think that says a lot about him. And I think that's a big reason why we're standing here today talking about him, is just the resiliency that he has and the kind of teammate he is and the work that he's going to put in. So it's awesome to see him get rewarded for that.
I think where we are right now as a football team, because we do have some young key spots, I think we do have to see that. But I think as you grow as and mature, as a football team, I think you can adjust that. I think if you feel you're getting really good practice reps against some ones-on-ones, good on good, and you got a couple joint practices, that could adjust and change. Every year's different. Your team's different every single year, and you just do what you think, or we think what is the best for that particular year. Be authentic. Be yourself. That's good enough. Trust me. We're working right. We got winning habits here, and winning habits. You keep doing right, things are going to go right, and just do that. You guys can see it. The way we practice, the way we finish, the way we hustle on the backside. We just got to keep getting the lines. I want to see that physical part. I want to have that. Hopefully, that shows that we're physical on the front lines in terms of operation, in terms of our culture. All those things are there.
Yeah, I think it all goes back to emphasizing that play style, identity for a team. When you talk about 53 guys, doing different jobs, 11 guys on offense and defense, it will look different. It's hard to just classify it as one thing. So I think that play style term really allows our coaches and our coordinators to really emphasize the things that they want to see. And it just so happens that I've kind of sat back and listened to a lot of those conversations amongst the players and coaches alike. And a lot of those things counteract against each other. So what that gives you is a competitive training camp where there are drill winners and losers. There are, plays that we force on defense that we cannot let happen on offense, or vice versa. But you kind of know based upon day to day, you walk off the field, did we get the value out of what the emphasis was for the day? And I would say without question we did yesterday. We're still going. We're starting to, try to really stack days in this training camp phase of this finite amount of time before we get into preseason games, joint practices, where we're really trying to grow it on a daily basis.
When you get put in these pressure situations, or you get in these moments where, man, you're fatigued, it's hot, man, I just went 8 reps in a row, man, who is going to be able to focus and mentally do their job, man? They're not going to bust an assignment, or the details of what they do, they don't just throw it out the window. They're still trying, even though you're fatigued, you're still trying to, man, I'm going to line up exactly where I'm supposed to be. I'm going to break this route exactly where I'm supposed to break it. That's ultimately what you're looking for. The guys that don't, man, they're unfazed, right? Doesn't mean it's going to be perfect, but it's clear that in those moments where some of these things can make you mentally weak, right? That's what fatigue does to you. They can focus in those moments, and they can will their bodies to do what they ask it to do. That's what we're looking for.
Certain things we really want to see in this environment. Really, we're just trying to check the mentality and the technique of the runners, man. You're not afforded the opportunity to warm up the quarterback protection, and so we're always interested in how that group represents itself in that drill. I thought they did a really nice job. Thought it was a good start. A lot of ebb and flow, man, a lot of quality work. We'll keep doing that, man. This tape is gold from a teaching and learning perspective. And so I'm excited about having the opportunity to put it on this afternoon and start that process in the effort to have more clarity and better performance tomorrow. We just keep pushing forward. Man, there's a finite amount of work out here, man. It's a limited opportunity in today's NFL. And so availability is big. Guys got to get back. Guys have to stay up. It's just a component of this time of year as they work to state a case for themselves and sort themselves out.
Yeah, well, we'll still be in camp mode all the way through in terms of our preparation. It's situational football, install. We'll be working, trying to get reps in all things that we're going to have to do throughout the course of the season. We won't be getting ready for the game per se. And so the mindset really doesn't change. It's camp mode, through all these games. We will be thinking about yardage and speeds and rest and different things to get our guys ready to roll when they need to be ready to roll, whether it's certain guys for the preseason games, certain guys for the regular season. What I'm most pleased with probably is just the mindset of the team. Love the mindset of the team, how hard they work, how good their attitude is, how up for anything they are, and how hard they practice and how locked in they've been.
There's a lot. We just want to get a lot of work in, and it really is. With games and joint practices, there's not a ton of practice time once you start playing your first game against Tampa Bay. Really, if you look at the calendar, there's just not a lot before final cuts, and so just trying to make sure our team is prepared for the first week of the season. What work do we need to get done? And so these games factor into that.
I think year to year, and we've talked about this before, you are constantly trying to stay ahead of it. And I've talked about offensive football evolves, and it evolves year to year. If you go back and watch tape from 10 years ago, it really does not look like football nowadays. So where is it going? What are the different things that people are doing? What are the different types of, call it motion, different types of run schemes, pass schemes, whatever they are. So for us, every single year we're looking at that. I think we're really fortunate to have some really smart football coaches on our offensive staff that have been exposed to different things that we can put it all together and see what fits us best, as opposed to just putting, something together, just on the chalkboard, if you will. We want to do things that we feel like fits our guys really well.
I think in the off season more than anything. I mean, right now when you manage guys too much, it's great to get them to the season, but then I actually feel more responsible because you haven't prepared them for the season. And the whole goal is to get to the season and be ready to play football, and that's why you do have to push guys in camp. I feel we've been one of the healthier teams in the league coming out in these first 5 games and stuff, and I feel that's because guys go hard in camp. So you got to be real smart with that and get guys prepared. I do think in the off season though, like especially this year, how long the off season or how short it's been, I think it's a mental break just as much as anything. Guys not here as much in phase 1 and phase 2. Guys who've been around and stuff, that didn't nearly bother me as much in the past. I mean, guys needed to get away. We know what we put into this. We know how long it goes, and not just with your body, but the mind, I think, more than anything.
If you just look at what a player has to do to maximize themselves, so, I tell the players all the time, like our roles, we're all here for one reason, that's to serve the players. The player's role is to maximize themselves. So we try to lay it out for them. Here's what that means. And my opinion, there's 5 ways that they kind of do that. Physical, scheme, tactics, brain, health. You got to be working, they're all kind of interlaced together. You got to be working on all 5 really every day. And we have the people in place here that are responsible for all 5, and I might be, responsible for these couple, and there might be a person that's just responsible for one thing. But that's what I mean by serving the players. Like those people are here for those guys to maximize those buckets. So
I think consistent improvement, and some of that you have to have some patience isn't something that I'm very familiar with, as you know. But I think there's an understanding of let's keep building, especially if you've got some guys that are getting reps for the first time based on some people that we do have out. And so what I think is helpful is no season is ever the same, but there are different experiences you can draw on. These provide opportunities to learn, to test things. We don't approach it like a game plan. So we're running a lot of base things. Really, I thought it was excellent to be able to see the differences in the schematics that we're giving each other to be able to really ultimately prepare for the season. So what I'm interested in is guys improving every single day. And I think a lot of guys have done that. Our job is to be able to get this roster ready to go, and we're going to continue to focus on that. But make no mistake about it, some of the things I saw, particularly offensively, got way higher standards, than what we looked like today consistently down in and down out.
I think we're still learning who we are. I think we're still chasing that. I think the guys are bought in. It's great tape to coach off of. It's great tape to eval guys on, but I wouldn't say far away, but we're ways out right now. But we have plenty. We have time to do it. We just gotta make sure we take advantage of each day. It's a mentality. Whatever happens, physically, mentally, as things go, just how we confront things. We don't want to shy away from challenges as the team or whatever. And that's just kind of how we take it on.
We were better yesterday than we were the day before that. I think we were mentally into it. We were quite a bit of energy and juice, and we were charged. I feel like we're well coached. The 2 things that stand out about being well coached is coaches teaching and players responding, and the result is football being played well, being played good. I thought we really, just as a team, I thought we enjoyed playing. I thought we played with the kind of joy that's when guys play their best. The challenge today, challenge tomorrow is to be better than we were yesterday. Keep attacking it, go in, go back, go measure it, and report it, and keep striving to be better. That's our goal.
To harp on all the details today, we even as a staff just met with them, and I said, I'm not going to use the word, but I want to be on there about everything. Today was that like stone in the shoe day coaching, and it's part of the discipline of playing, and for to find the right 53, it's not just physically the talent, it's the mental toughness, the fortitude, all those other things. Can you be challenged? Can you be coached hard?
Yeah, we need to get better. Just strive to get better, coaches and players. If you can keep the hammer down and keep working and detailing your work and not worried about what's going on a play down the way here, just focus on what your job is and get it done. Then you have a chance to get better. And so we've added some new things, and the coaches are working on detailing all of that, and the players are working hard to this point. They're working their tail off to try to master everything.
No, I don't think we've
to sit there and say somebody's won yet. I think they both had good moments. I'll go back. I think Gardner's had, several days now where he's made some plays, but then there's also some turnovers that show up that we don't want to have happen as well. And again, when I look at Aiden, I see a guy that's, throwing the ball accurate. I see some drops by our wide receivers. And I don't think it's just on the quarterbacks. I think overall our offensive play has to pick up, sense of urgency, wide receivers, O-line, just all those guys. Again, go back to the very beginning of my opening statement of training camp. They're going against a very good defense. I think they're feeling that, and I think it's good for our team, the competition part, but obviously somebody, again, has to just, step up, and we're getting closer and closer, and obviously we're getting the game week mode a little bit as we get later in the week.
Really, it's just functioning, right? So it's the pre-snap mechanics of getting us up to the line, getting us to the right plays in the run game, in the pass game. It's about throwing it to that first open guy within the time that we want. And then when the pocket breaks apart, extending and making those extra plays, and so he's showing all those things, but I still think just in terms of getting our group polished, we're not there yet. We still have strides to make as an offense as a whole. I want for all of our groups, particularly the first group, to be able to function so it just looks like a really fine-tuned machine, and we're not quite there right now in that regard. But I love the understanding that we have right now with our concepts. I love the execution part of it. I just think that there's another step in terms of getting up there quickly, being able to use our tools.
I enjoy this time of year. There's something about the evaluation period of looking at guys, the teaching and the learning that comes with football, the requirements of us coming to work and going out here and being able to get some things together. But football is fun. It's a great reminder for us that it is what it is, and you can feel the excitement in the room. It is absolutely outstanding that we get a chance to be together and be a part of this. And I just get fired up about all of that stuff. I feel like the 24-year-old Raheem Morris that was able to go in 2002, go to his first training camp, it doesn't feel much different. It's still fun. It's still football. It's still what we love.
Really for the young guys, just trying to get acclimated to how fast the game is going to be and making checks and lining up the right way. But it was a great mental day for us. Being in camp for a week, you got to get used to your pads, you got to get used to the heat, and then you got to carry out your assignment. That's a work in progress. I'm really pleased with the mental approach these guys have come in with. We haven't had any sloppy days. We've had mental errors, but we haven't had any sloppy days, and guys are locked in and they're trying to get better.
I think we got to let these preseason games play it out. I think we're trying to determine if we have a backup quarterback on our roster right now. I've seen some signs that I like, and yet I want to get them into real live situations under the lights and see how both of these guys operate in that environment. So I'm encouraged by what I've seen out of both Spencer and Jake, and yet we haven't made any decisions there, and I want to see what they operate like under the lights.
It's an all-in competitive spirit, right? We all love each other, work well together, but we also show that competitive fire as well. They'll get us on some plays, we'll get them on some plays. So it's a lot of back and forth. But as coaches, right, it's making sure we get as many different looks as we can. So we're always working with each other to make sure we're sharpening, right? The offense, giving them what they need. They give us what we need on particular plays. So when coaching staffs are working together, that's how you make your team better. And we have a really tight coaching staff.
I want guys to feel like when they come into work, it's a place they enjoy coming to. It's with people they enjoy working with. And I've always told these guys that there's guys that play loose and aggressive tend to play better. I want guys to play free and play fast. And so that's probably a byproduct of those things. And the one thing I'll say about our team, and kind of top to bottom really from every group, is these guys work, and they work hard, and they practice hard. This is a really hard practicing team. Not at any point have I ever felt like we needed to kind of kick it up. I mean, they come out and they put the helmet on and they go, and it's really impressive. It's a testament to all those guys and how hard they work. So I think they have a relaxed perspective in terms of we can go play fast and play free. There's no shortage of intensity when they come to work, and I think that's a really good balance to have.
How we practice is how we make us. That was it. How we practice, how we make us. It's a long season, but we got to do it every day in practice. Training camp, week 1, week 3, week 4, week 6, week 17. We got to practice our tails off, and that's how we're going to get better. Yeah, a lot more comfortable. You're going into year 2, just everything. The operations, coming over here for training camp for the second time. It's great. Knowing the players, you got a full year with the players, knowing their personalities is huge. So coming out here, feel really comfortable with our team. Again, just super excited about what we got going.
Still installing, still learning, still teaching, progressing okay. It's obviously we're not a finished product, and we just continue to learn and grow and work in different combinations up front in the O-line, work in different combinations at receivers and running backs. We're still in this developmental phase, developing all our players. As we get going deeper into camp, we'll get more specific on, lineups and things like that. They're going to happen. Typically at this time, you would say defense is probably ahead of the offense. I mean, it's always been that way, and any turnovers can be, cause for concern. But we continue to coach and teach, and but on the other side of it, that's what you want your defense to do. So I'm kind of stuck in the middle.